Welcome to the Rooted Goddess podcast with your host, Leslie Sprague, where we talk all things wellness, woo-woo, life, and everything in between. As a small-town mom of two amazing kiddos, I understand the challenges of what it's like to stay grounded and go after your dreams. My goal for this podcast is to inspire you to root down so you can grow stronger, rise up, and let your light shine bright so you can be the goddess you are truly meant to be. Think of this as your one-stop shop. It's happy hour with a gal pal while getting truthful and heartfelt about taking the steps forward to living your best life. Hi, and welcome to the Rooted Goddess podcast. I'm your host, Leslie Sprague. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our perceptions. Quite often, I say that a lot. Since doing this, I noticed that I say quite often a lot. Sorry, that was like a squirrel segue that just totally got derailed. Anyway, when they're in relationships, we are quick to, and I'm not talking just your relationship with your partner or significant other or things like that. I'm talking any relationship, like your relationship with your children, your relationship with your parents, your relationship with your siblings, your relationship with your friends, relationships, period. Quite often, and there it goes again, quite often, we are quick to judge the other person first. And because I am a bottler by nature, as I call myself. So by bottler, it means that I like to just store all my emotions and frustrations deep down inside and not get in a huge discussion about what's going on with me. Quite often, there it is again. Oh God, this is going to drive me nuts. We blame the other person first in the relationship. But what I like to do is, or try to do is the key word. I like to take a look at my piece in this relationship first. Because as the old saying goes, it takes two to tango. And there are always two sides to every story, or maybe multiple sides. So if an accident happens at an intersection, this is an example to set you up, and you may have heard it before. If an accident happens at an intersection and there's a person standing at all four corners, guaranteed each person would have a different story because the viewpoint from where they were standing is different. So, that being said, this is why I like to try and take a look at my part of it first, because I know quite often that there is a contributing factor from me. And so how do you do that? How do you shift that? If you want to shift the energy within that relationship, how do you do that? And the best way to do it is, I've got a couple ways for you. So one is to write someone a letter. write someone a letter and let them know. Even if you're not 100% sure what's going on, like, why do we have this awkwardness between us? If you're not 100% sure, just start writing, because guaranteed that the answer will come out. So after that, there is the old saying, walk a mile in somebody else's shoes. So what I invite you to try, and this, dealing with the situation that I was just dealing with, doing this exercise hit home huge for this. So you got to tap into your visualization and your imagination, so to speak. But I want you to stand across from the person energetically. They don't physically have to be right in front of you. Put yourself in your shoes. Stand there looking at that person. And if it happens to be pertaining to a specific situation, put yourself in that situation again. Feel the feeling of what it was like to be you in that situation. And feel all that. And while looking at this person standing across from you in your imagination, then once you have finished that, I invite you to switch places. Now you are the other person. And again, if it's the situation, that other person, like, you're still replaying that same situation. If it's just a matter of having a conversation energetically or things like that, then just do it that way. But now look at yourself through those other person's eyes. See what they see. Feel what they feel. Okay? And then once you have completed that and you've got a feeling for who they are, then I invite you to step into your shoes yet again and look at that person again. Has your energy shifted? Or not your energy, your view of the situation or the person or anything like that. Has anything like that shifted for you? And it may or it may not. But this is the point when I stepped back into myself, where I realized where my stuff was coming from. So for me, it was coming from a past friendship. A friendship that felt, to me, completely one-sided. The support and love and everything like that never felt like it came back to me. And now that I'm discussing this with you, maybe I should do this exercise with that person in that past friendship. So the feelings that I was feeling came stemming from that relationship. And I was feeling unsupported again, unloved, unnoticed. And this is when it shifted. So then after you do those 3, you go from you to the other person to you again. Now what you're going to do is so if you imagine one person is standing across from the other, I want you to step sort of off to the side as if you're standing looking at both people. And this time, you are an unbiased third party. And when you are that unbiased third party, you're looking at the relationship between the two. What's really going on here? For me, when I did this exercise, literally just a few moments ago, it was a complete shift. And you know what? It's probably in relationship to exploring a little bit further the 5 love languages. If you haven't heard of this book, hold on one second. It is called The 5 Love Languages, and it's by Gary Chapman, and it talks about the different types of love. Not everybody shows love the same way. The reason I'm using love right now is because for me, that's where it was stemming from. Like, I wasn't feeling loved from that relationship. But so briefly on this book talks about some people express love by words of affirmation. So like saying, "Oh wow, you look so beautiful today," or "That was amazing," like things like that. So like positive affirmation statements. Then there are acts of service. So kindly wanting to help out or do something, or things like that. Then there are receiving gifts. Some people show love by buying gifts for people. Other people show love by spending quality time together. And then there are other people who show love by physical touch. So always wanting to hold hands, or I guess in a friendship, you're probably not going to hold hands like that. But hugging would be a good example of physical touch in a friendship. So what this, for me, when I stepped into the third party, the unbiased view of the relationship, I saw the love. I saw the love between the two friends. And what it was instead was that the relationship, it wasn't speaking my love language. So I didn't feel that there was any. Wow. Yeah, it's still getting to me because I literally just did this exercise like 10 minutes ago. So after you do that, I invite you to take one more perspective. And this exercise can be used with situations, relationships, and you know what? It could probably even be used, because I'm thinking about this a little bit more myself, in wanting to step into who you want to become. Let's say you want to have a more healthier lifestyle, but you keep trying and starting over again. Or, you want to exercise daily. I guess that goes with like healthier lifestyle For me, it's like stepping into that person that I want to be, especially in my business sense. So this fourth viewpoint is, so you stepped viewing in between the two. I want you to step back and away even farther so that you have the best way to explain it actually is like a bird's eye view, so that you can see the whole picture a little more clearly. And see what comes from that viewpoint. So those two exercises are very, very powerful. And it's funny because I have been thinking about writing this letter and doing this exercise. Actually, I just was reminded about this exercise yesterday. So it's kind of funny how divine timing it came to me exactly when I needed it. And I've been resisting this, resisting doing this exercise. And I know there's a few other areas that I want to do this with. But I invite you to change your perspective, because quite often it's not what we think it is. And there's that word again, those words, quite often. It's not what we think it is. So by shifting our perspective or shining a light on a different piece of the puzzle can change how we do everything around that. So that is all the words of wisdom and little nuggets that I have for you today. Namaste, goddesses. Thank you so much for listening, and let me give you a virtual hug, big squeeze, as a token of my appreciation. At the very least, I hope you had some fun while listening, and maybe even learned a thing or two. And bonus points if I got a chuckle out of you. If you liked this episode, it would mean the world to me if you could leave me a 5-star review, or if you know someone who could benefit from listening, share it on your Insta stories and tag me at Leslie's Yoga and Wellness. Subscribe to this channel if you want to stay up to date with new episodes. By doing these things, it helps to get my podcast noticed so that people who need to hear my message are more attracted to it. Please feel free to stop by my website, lesliespragg.com, and grab a copy of my free Mom Self-Care Kit. While you're there, grab a free few yoga classes. Namaste, goddesses. Until next time.